What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got some spicy duels for you guys to check out. First duel is actually featuring Ragalia Turbo, which is really interesting. Essentially, this deck is built around a very powerful Link monster. It's a Link 3, but it's not nearly as easy to summon as some of the other Link 3s in the game. Dark Neostorm is when it's coming out, and Dark Neostorm actually has a few really powerful high Link monsters, like the Mech Knight Crusadia Astrum. He's another one. The Ragalia can actually beat some meta decks like Ultra if they just don't actually have an out, if they're relying on monster effects, like they just won't be able to kill them. It also can nuke your opponent's entire field, which is legitimate. Then it becomes like unaffected by monster effects, so it's a pretty good monster in general. Some of you guys are probably looking at his opening hand and you're like, wow, Cap, that's a total dumpster fire. Literally 0 level 4 lower monsters. Nice double kaiju hand, Kappa. It looks pretty bad, but you actually need these high level monsters to go into Ragalia, so don't worry, it actually is going to work. And the True Draco player is going to play incredibly smart. I think that he's going to make the most out of what he has, and really, I think if the True Draco player was playing against any other just basic meta deck, I think he just would have scraped them, honestly, because this is like the epitome of just opening the nuts in True Draco. He had the card of Demise. He's going to get, I believe, a +3 here, because I count 8 on field, 4, I guess you could say, in the or 3 in the monster zone, and then 4 in the back row, plus another 1 in the field spell zone. So you go +3 in your first turn. You got yourself another card of Demise to draw even more cards in your next turn. You have Imperial Order, and there can only be 2 nice floodgates, and you also have Inspector Border to shut your opponent down. So if he was dueling against Salamangreat, Trickstar, or Altergeist, I mean, even Sky Striker because of the Imperial Order, or hell, Thunder Dragon 2 because of there can only be 1, like, this is literally game against every deck in the meta unless you evenly match him, but not against Ragalia Turbo. So let's see how Ragalia Turbo is going to get out of this. He's going to go for that first he's going to go for the Dogoran. Then he summons a monster I'm not going to lie, I had not been familiar with. This is the red-haired hasty horse, and this guy can basically summon itself if you have a column that's completely open. If there's like no monsters in that column, you can special summon it, and it just happens to be a high level monster. It's a level 5. Then he normal summons the Beast King Barbaros, and he's going to go ahead and drop this Dynamist. Now this one can be summoned if you don't have any Dynamist monsters, so you can actually special summon it, and guess what? Those 3 monsters right there equal his instant Ragalia on field, and Ragalia, you know, unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. But even better than that, it's just your opponent activates Ignis Heat. Cool story, bro. Just wipe your entire board. Goodbye all your floodgates. The floodgates did nothing there. Now he is going to have another floodgate. Top deck's another copy of There Can Only Be 1. The problem is, if you can't kill Ragalia, it's just like the card is going to beat you, because he's just going to say, you know what, Cap, I'm not even going to let this Joker get another activation off with his True Draco monster. I'm just going to tribute it for a kaiju, and then I'm just going to nuke his board and, you know, summon my monster and basically just kill my opponent. So yeah, it's a monster you have to get off the field immediately. Otherwise, it is going to just continually like nuke your board, and it has 3,500 attacks. So if your opponent has like any follow-up, then, you know, you could be in the danger zone just after 1 turn. And again, if you do summon it with the 3 level 5s, or you have to, it is unaffected by all your opponent's monster effects, so it's not exactly the easiest thing to kill. This includes your monster effects in case you have, you know, something like Judgment Dragon randomly or something like that. Anyway, second duel, it's going to take us to Trickstars, and it's going to be against Guard Dragons, and this is some cheese. Right now, I've actually encountered Guard Dragon players who actually like the Crusadia Guard Dragon players who play Red Reboot in the main deck, and obviously, you know, it's really good going second, but if you're going first, it's kind of like a brick unless your opponent like randomly impermanences you. Even then, would you really want them to have the impermanent? Anyways, let's see. So he doesn't do anything, just kind of pass his turn, and Trickstar have a really solid play. I mean, he's playing Dark Realm and Nightmare, so he's getting even more burn damage, and I think he has a reincarnation set, but the reincarnation can be disrupted by the Red Reboot. And this is technically going to work out for him, because the one thing about Red Reboot is the card is insanely valuable if your opponent sets 5 cards in their back row, because the biggest downside of Red Reboot ain't even the life points. It's the fact that your opponent gets another like trap card from their deck, and if your opponent is playing something like Impermanence, you're just giving them effect negation if you can't kill them. But if your opponent has all their cards, their spell and trap zones locked up, as he does right here with the Reincarnation and the Solemn Strike, they can't set anything else. So let's see what he's going to get. He's going to get Evenly Matched, and this is where it's going to get spicy. I was like, uh-oh. If this plays out right, this could be bad. He's gonna go for the copy of Trickstar Reincarnation. That's gonna get locked down by Red Reboot, and now he can just evenly match him and leave him with one single card, which is exactly what he's gonna do. Now that's crazy, because usually you think of Trickstar as one of the few decks in the game you never can evenly match, because if you just go straight into the battle phase, they can just, you know, Reincarnation you and then you lose your evenly match. But if your opponent can't activate trap cards, then that's what happens. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any actual plays though, so there's that. And he basically just gave Trickstars an open invitation to come at his life points. Also, paying half your life points against Trickstar of all decks is dangerous, because Trickstar is, well, it's like half a burn deck. So he's gonna go for Solemn Strike, another Red Reboot's coming down, but he keeps cutting his life points in half, so I'm not really sure how much headway he's actually going to make here. His opponent probably is going to tag in for Lycoris, because he knows he's going to try to search with the Link 1 for Crusadia, and I think that he's down to 150 life points. Can he bring it back? I'm guessing no. Even with the Crusadia Link 2 linked up with 2 massive monsters. Well, this guy's not massive, but the Kaiju is, and being 5900 attack, his opponent would still survive this assault. Actually, I don't think he could quite game him here, but it's not gonna matter. He got that spicy tech, that Clashing Souls. You guys know this card. Basically, you just activate this, and it kind of plays a little bit of ping pong, where you keep paying 500, and the player whose monster is on the field last basically gets to keep their field. The other player doesn't, and unfortunately his opponent was already at 150 life points when Clashing Souls was activated, so he couldn't even use the Clashing Souls to do that kind of tennis match, because he didn't have any life points. But that's essentially how it breaks down. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed these short little duels. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.